Hello everyone, it's Ash from Blue Pigment. I am doing a competition to win a TD Best microphone. It's a USB plug and go model TD021. If you would like to be in with a chance to win this microphone, go to patreon.com, search Blue Pigment. If you become a patron of the show, the first 20 members will be entered into the competition. Some other features that this microphone has are no delay in recording, sound chipset, broad capacity, USB plug and go, noise reduction, and cardio pickup. I'm not sure what cardio pickup is, but it says it on the box. Now, to buy this microphone yourself would be close to £30 with postage and packaging, maybe even more than £30. It is highly regarded on Amazon and by myself. You could win it for as little as £1. So again, for you to be in with a chance to win this microphone, head to patreon.com and search Blue Pigment, become a patron, and the first 20 patrons will be entered into the competition. I will put each of your names into a hat, and the winner takes all. Good luck. You are listening to Blue Pigment Podcast, a podcast for art. The definition of the word art is expression, or the application of human creativity, a skill or imagination. I hope to discover new talent in areas such as music, poetry, to mixed martial arts and everything in between. I want to start with my own profession, Her Majesty's Armed Forces. The military has an abundance of characters, and I want to provide a platform for talented regulars, reservists, and veterans. Follow my journey as I show you that there is more to the armed forces than just bullets and bombs. My name is Ash Stafford, and this is Blue Pigment Podcast. I have an incredible guest lined up for you today. He is not even in the army. All my previous guests have been in the army. This one's from the Navy, and I think you're going to really like it. Now, the previous episode, episode 4, was about remembrance, and I want to start this episode with something similar from my naval guest. His form of art, which is poetry. His name is Ben Taylor, and this poem is called Remember, and it's about Remembrance Day. Oh, before we start, I should probably add that he sent me the clips, and the clips were whilst he was walking his dog, so the sound quality might be a little bit off, but we can forgive him because his poem is amazing. It's called Remember, and here we go.
Hey up. I've written a poem for something that I think is very important. I'm sure all you do and all, and that's Remembrance Day. I've got my poppy on here, look. I've just called it Remember. Now, we've a lot to be proud of in our great nation, from language and history to science and education. But what puts great in Britain for me is folk what live here, like me and thee. A tiny island nation stuck in North Atlantic, with punch above us weight as though we're gigantic. And reason we've been at top for some time is them that served country and made sacrifice. Your soldiers, your sailors, your airmen and all, millions of it years have answered the call to say goodbye to fathers and mothers and serve alongside new sisters and brothers. They shave your head and send thee to sea, or give thee a rifle and dress you up like a tree. That's been way for many generation. I'd love to say why, it's not but imagination, but for many it's not. It's as real as can be, for them that's fought for us to be free. I'm lucky to have known many a great man that served in Falklands, Iraq and Afghan. I've always been proud to have them as mates, knowing what they've gid that can't be replaced. And I'm not just talking about them with us today. There's many that's fought that we've lost on way. We have this time at start of November we set aside every year for us to remember them that's fought for country and wars and laid down their lives so as we can live ours. Too many have given that great sacrifice. Too many have paid the ultimate price. But many of them that still remain will gather in London for Remembrance Parade. As tales are shared, there's laughter and tears, and crowds tonight to remember every year. I get a lump in my throat, a feeling of awe, watching great generation what fought in world wars. Seeing blokes in the 90s that can barely walk, but on Remembrance Sunday they'll get up and they'll march. Chins high and proud, and chests puffed out, wi' a row full of medals dressed immaculately smart. Whole nation drops silent as last post rings true. We remember the fallen and give thanks to 'em too. Aussies and Kiwis and Yanks and Fijians, Canadians and Gurkhas, lads from Caribbean, Indians and Africans, the list goes on. Have all given their lives, don't matter where they're from. We wear a poppy, and we wear it with pride, as a symbol of remembrance for them that's died. When parade's done and dusted, and wreaths are laid, and all for me sen, the memories don't fade. I'm forever grateful to brave women and men that's chosen to save others instead of the sen. To them that we've lost, I'm forever in debt, but I promise you summat I'll never forget. So I take off my cap, and I say to me sen, at going down at sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
Excellent poem that, Ben. I think it's a real talent to be able to mix up emotions and humour within a poem like that. It was brilliant. So I said after the poem I would introduce you to Ben. He is in the Royal Navy and has been since 2008. He's an engineer. Now I think it's quite obvious where Ben is from. Yorkshire. Now Yorkshire folk are extremely proud of their land and their heritage, and rightly so. It's a beautiful part of the country. What I'm going to do is talk a bit about Yorkshire culture, because that Yorkshire has its own culture. It's got, a lot of things that go in for itself. Yorkshire puddings, Yorkshire tea, and quite a lot of chocolate comes from Yorkshire. Chocolate orange, Kit Kat, Yorkie bar, world famous cricket players and rugby players, and obviously the iconic accent. Now most of the time it's quite difficult to understand, even though they're from England. It's not like they're talking another language, but sometimes they actually are. They have their own language. And Ben's next poem that I'm going to introduce you to now, he'll go through some of the dialect. I think this poem he wrote for a young lad, and going to teach him the Yorkshire slang, I guess, or the things that he needs to know to get by. The poem is called Introduction to the Yorkshire Dialect.
I done one for your young'un, so this is for Joshua. An introduction to Yorkshire dialect. Now then, young Joshua, how's that going on? That means good day, mate, where me and the father are from. Another way we'd greet is, hey up old cocker. And by the way, footy's rugby, and it's football, not soccer. That's easy, young lad. That's Yorkshire flowing through the veins. There's an Aussie, but they ain't quite same. There's a lot to learn, young'un, about this glorious land. God's county we call it, and by heck is it grand. Best place to start is with how we talk, because they'll never understand if they's not taught. So pin back the lug oils, or ears to thee, sit down, bush up, and listen to me. Starting with basics, that knows, hello and goodbye. Well, I've told thee already, hey up means hi. Instead of goodbye, we say ta-da, but don't confuse it with thanks, which is just ta. While the mam works for dollars, the father addles for brass. And when they sees a hot Sheila, we'd call her a bonny lass. The ma's eating shrimp off at Barbie, the pa's eating dumplings and stew. And while the mother's doing nutbush, the father's doing agadoo. Now, a daft bleeding apeth, or a bleeding great oaf, it'd be a flaming drongo, or somebody clumsy, or both. A sanger's a sarnie, and the dinner's the tea, which makes the lunch the dinner in Yorkshire, that sees. Oil means hole. I've a different rhyme to explain that. Then we wear flat caps in Yorkshire, not bleeding corks on his hat. We Aussies will be watching Crocodile Dundee. We'll be watching Kes, which is better, I'm telling thee. To cal is to talk, and to trough is to eat. If there's supping, there's drinking, and the pal is the mate. Now, I don't want to go on getting head on me sen. Sen's self, by the way. Look, I've done it again. I'll just give thee some time. For now, that'll do. When there's ready, I shall give thee lesson number 2. What I will say to thee is that can be full of pride. There's roots in best place for all worldwide. So send thee father out to get thee a white rose. Get it pinned on thee chest so as everyone knows. And when Aussies ask thee, what's that rose about like? They can answer in dialect. Sither, I'm a tyke.
So many funny lyrics in there, so many funny lines. If you want to see more of Ben's poems, get to his YouTube channel, Yorkshire Prose. There's some really good ones on there, some heartfelt ones and some comical ones. Some real clever use of words. Definitely check it out. The next poem I'm going to introduce you to now, and it's going to see out the show, and it's something that I'm quite looking forward to when COVID is over and I can have a beer with my mates. Here we go. It's called Ale Cart.
I thought since it's supping season, I'd share this in with you. It's about all stages I went through having an ale round my pals overnight. I've been round my pals tonight and we've had a supper too. Well, to tell the truth, I've had more than a few. I started on gold, but I've moved on to whiskey. I'm feeling it now, moving to whiskey was risky. Perhaps I'd be better with a nice drop of gin. Have we limes or lemons or out to put in? Bah, go, that's a touch. I feel refreshed. Right, that's me. I'm getting undressed. Nay, I'm not leathered. I'm only just started. Passes that wine, I'm bound to get clarted. Ugh, it's bubbles. They didn't tell me that. Huh, it's gone to me head. I'm bound to collapse. I know what'll sort me. A good drop of rum. Is that Sailor Jerry's? Yeah, give some. Oh, aye, that's its spot. It's going down easy. Down in one. Oh, now I feel queasy. Quick, fetch a bucket. I'm bound to be sick. No time for toilet. Fetch that bucket quick. It's gone off now. Must have been somewhat of it. Nay, it's not ale, you miserable get. But, now that mentions, my vessel's empty. Get us some vodka and a drop of Pepsi. What's that mean? We've run out of ice. Me vodka's warm, this won't suffice. No, I wait, calm down. Don't you touch me. Does that want bleeding brain? I'm bleeding sick of thee. Who's not worth it? I'm a boxer than ours. Unbeaten champ and all as it goes. Come on, if thou want some, here if you dare. But I'll warn you again, I know me way around square. Aye, sit down. That's what I thought. Come here, I'm sorry, it's all ale's fault. It must have been them shots that we had afore. That's tipped it down my neck since I walked through the door. Oof, by heck, we've had a good swill. To tell the truth, I think I've had my fill. That'll do me, maybe 1 foot road. Hey up, there's none left, but I brought a load. We've supped all that. Nay wonder I'm knackered. Let me have a sit down. I'm bloody cream crackered. Aye, I'll go home in a minute. I'll just have a quick rest. Ah, lass'll kill me if I go home a mess. Just gaze a second, I'll just rest my eyes. Oh, where am I? Have I been catching flies? Bleeding heck, it's morning. I'm in big trouble now. My head's bloody pounding. I think we took it too far. That's me. I'm done. I ain't supping again. Mind you, it's that thing next week. Well, I ain't supping till then.
Awesome. That's the end of the show. If you would like your culture or your background to be represented on the show, please get in touch, and you can find me at bluepigmentpodcast@outlook.com, or leave a comment in the comments section below. I look forward to seeing you all again soon. You are listening to Blue Pigment Podcast, a podcast for art and a platform to launch undiscovered talents from. If you are a regular, reserve or veteran and you want to come onto the show, please find Blue Pigment on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, or you can go to the website bluepigment.co.uk, where you'll find many ways to communicate with myself and hopefully get you on the show. The opinions expressed on this podcast are solely of my own or the guests, and do not express the views or opinions of anyone else or Ministry of Defence.